At this moment, his essence spirit was weak, clearly not something that could be restored in a short time. Wang Lin, this time, you will undoubtedly die. With two elders in the mid-void tribulation stage chasing you, let's see how you escape. Moreover, Elder Zhang has already promised me that once you are captured, I will be allowed to torment you for several days. I will make you beg for your life, but not be able to die. Su Dicai's hatred for Wang Lin stemmed from the fact that his heavenly Tao was devoured, and the more it hurt him, the deeper his hatred grew. Suddenly, while flying, his expression shifted. He abruptly turned around and gazed into the distance. In that fleeting moment, he felt a fluctuation coming from far away. As soon as he looked, he saw Wang Lin step out of the void and change direction, speeding away. He clearly saw Wang Lin's expression change the moment he noticed Su Dicai's gaze. His speed exploded, and ripples formed beneath his feet. Clearly, he was attempting to leave in some strange way. Wang Lin, he's no longer ahead, but has appeared here. Su Dicai froze for a moment, watching Wang Lin's speed rapidly increase as he disappeared in the blink of an eye. It was clear that Wang Lin was using some peculiar method to move without a trace. Without a second thought, Su Dicai's body flashed as he chased after him. You choose not to take the main road, but instead fall into my eyes, Wang Lin. This is your bad luck. You've brought death upon yourself. Su Dicai sneered, his body transforming into a long rainbow as the distance closed instantly. At this moment, all of his focus was on Wang Lin, and his divine sense swept the surroundings, detecting no signs of any traps. He felt relieved. However, just as he had closed in by about 1,000 zhang, his figure suddenly vanished, as though he had collided with an invisible spatial crack, disappearing in an instant. The moment he vanished, Wang Lin's body flickered and rapidly approached, also disappearing. All that remained on the ground, hidden among the weeds, was a space stone, silently resting there, concealed by the grass and covered by mud. Su Dicai was gone. At the moment of his disappearance, a female cultivator in the early void tribulation stage, sitting cross-legged at the edge of the extreme heaven grasslands, suddenly changed her expression. She stared at the compass in front of her, a cold chill running down her spine. She saw the light representing Su Dicai suddenly vanish. This. The woman's face turned pale, disbelief filling her eyes. Without hesitation, she immediately transmitted this news through a special method to the 3 void tribulation cultivators currently in the extreme heaven grasslands. Elder Zhang from Green Devil Continent and Elder Zhao, both of whom were flying at high speed, had very grim expressions as they pursued the compass. However, they soon realized they had been deceived. Embarrassment and anger filled them, but they could not vent their frustration. While they were flying, their expressions suddenly changed. They simultaneously halted mid-air as they felt the information being transmitted to them. Su Dicai, who was clearly behind, has disappeared. Elder Zhang's expression shifted. It must be Wang Lin. He used the compass to divert our attention while secretly hiding in the grasslands and setting up a trap for Su Dicai. Elder Zhao's eyes revealed killing intent. As the two elders realized this, the dawn broke across the extreme heaven grasslands, with sunlight shining from the horizon, illuminating the earth. However, the rain continued to pour, only growing heavier. In the thick curtain of rain, a mist rose from the ground. This mist was black in color and quickly surged up, enveloping the entire extreme heaven grasslands. Elder Zhang and Elder Zhao abruptly turned to look around. Waves of invisible pressure spread from the mist that surrounded the grasslands. The female cultivator in the early void tribulation stage, some distance away from them, also halted mid-flight. Her expression changed, and she appeared shocked. She had received the information about Su Dicai's disappearance through a special transmission from Green Devil Continent. At the same time, she saw the mist rising from the ground. It quickly spread, and the sound of howling winds emanated from the mist. Within the mist, thousands of cultivators from the Heavenly Bull Continent, led by Lu Wenran, launched their second wave of attack. 3 void tribulation cultivators within the mist were rushing toward the edge to escape, but Lu Wenran's cold voice echoed from within the fog. Fellow cultivators, why hurry to leave? As her words spread, all the void tribulation cultivators from the underground palace flew out, engaging in a fierce battle. At the edge of the extreme heaven grasslands, the female cultivator in the early void tribulation stage, who was controlling the compass while meditating, suddenly opened her eyes. Without a second thought, she rose, waved her sleeve, and immediately led thousands of Green Devil Continent cultivators. They transformed into thousands of rainbows, speeding forward. As the second battle erupted on the extreme heaven grasslands, in a certain muddy patch of weeds on the plains, an unnoticed, ordinary stone lay undisturbed. Within this stone, countless spaces were contained, and Decai was pulled into the space stone, swept into a space designated by Wang Lin. The moment he entered, his mind trembled. He immediately realized he had fallen into the other man's scheme. Yet his cultivation was profound. He betrayed not the slightest panic. Instead, he lifted his head, calmly surveying his surroundings. The sky here was blue, the sun a golden radiance, but the land was saturated with the aura of death. In the distance stood a flame mountain, and in another direction stretched a vast sea of thunder pools. Above the blue canopy, rolling dark clouds churned, scattering black snowflakes. No one knew how long the snow had been falling, but already it had blanketed the earth layer upon layer. Wang Lin, come out. Why play tricks in this place? Decai's expression was cold, his gaze sweeping across the area as his voice echoed all around. In the next instant, Wang Lin's figure appeared through a ripple of distortion several thousand feet away. His long white hair drifted freely, his robes now changed to pure white. His eyes locked icily onto Decai. Your divine arts are swift. Then here, let us see whose speed is greater. Wang Lin's eyes flashed. Cause and effect. As his voice fell, the heavens and earth of this space trembled violently. A sword suddenly condensed out of thin air. This sword embodied Wang Lin's cause and effect origin. Almost at the same moment, Decai responded without hesitation. His right hand formed a seal, and in an instant, millions of seal marks surged forth, coalescing into a blood-red mist. From within came shrill cries as countless ghostly wails transformed into strands of wandering souls, numbering in the hundreds and thousands, blotting out the sky as they rushed forward. Simultaneously, Decai retreated a step. His left hand rose, forming another seal, and with a sweep nearly 7 million seal marks erupted. Heaven and earth roared as a long spear materialized, twisting the air before transforming into a colossal giant python, its tongue flickering, hissing ferociously as it charged ahead. He retreated 3 more steps, lifting both hands to continue unleashing his arts. His speed was astonishing, but for the first time, it was slower than Wang Lin's. As Decai's second divine art took shape, Wang Lin's sword of life and death origin roared forth. And when Decai attempted his third art, Wang Lin's sword of truth and falsehood origin emerged a heartbeat ahead. That heartbeat was decisive. The karma-severing sword cleaved toward the incoming souls, its strange power severing cause and effect. With one slash, the whales shattered as the vengeful spirits collapsed entirely. At the same moment, Wang Lin's sword of life and death origin streaked forward with incredible speed, striking the giant python formed from Decai's art. With a deafening boom, the python let out a final deathly hiss before shattering, along with Wang Lin's life and death sword. But the sword of truth and falsehood origin followed immediately, impossibly fast. Decai's third divine art was not yet complete. The sword flashed, rushing straight for his chest. Too fast. Decai's face turned ashen, and he stumbled backward, thrusting his half-formed divine art in front of him. It collided head-on with the sword of truth and falsehood origin. The explosion rang through the space. The sword shattered, but Decai was shaken as well. His face paled, his body thrown back, his right hand lifting again, ready to form another seal. But Wang Lin would not allow him the chance. Having disrupted Decai's rhythm and prepared this killing field, he had to finish it, had to slay his opponent and seize the secret of his rapid divine arts. Almost the instant Decai retreated 2 steps, Wang Lin's expression twisted, his right hand stabbing forward. Fire origin. At his word, the distant flame mountain erupted violently, shifting instantly to enclose Decai. Flames roared as the mountain itself became Wang Lin's primordial true body of fire, turning into an overwhelming assault. Thunder origin. Wang Lin pressed the attack without hesitation. As his words echoed, the fiery mountain surrounding Su Datsai shifted again, now descending into the vast thunder sea in the distance. Thunder roared like boiling water. Countless bolts struck downward, converging on the flame mountain, igniting a storm of thunder and fire. Water essence. With a flick of his sleeve, Wang Lin bit the tip of his tongue, spitting out a mouthful of blood. Though this space lacked water, it was incomplete. His own blood conjured the water origin. The crimson vapor surged toward the Thunderfire battlefield, and the instant it touched, the sea of flames collapsed while the Thunder Sea erupted in an explosive surge. The fusion of the three origins, fire, thunder, and water, unleashed a power of annihilation. And in that instant, the three scattered void origins reformed into swords once more. The volcano collapsed, the thunder pool shattered, and from a mouthful of blood, the water essence condensed into a surge of energy. Along with it, three long swords formed from the void origin roared through the air as Su Datsai's furious scream echoed out. Amid the deafening rumble, Su Datsai was engulfed in a layer of lantern light. Blood sprayed from his mouth as he staggered backward in a desperate retreat, his face deathly pale and utterly disheveled. Above his head floated a lantern, from which that flickering light emanated, shielding him. It was this treasure alone that kept him alive, allowing him to survive the combined onslaught of 6 origins with grievous injuries rather than certain death. Wang Lin had long understood the difficulty of killing a void tribulation cultivator. Seeing Su Datsai escape the first wave of origin slaughter was disappointing, but hardly unexpected. He never counted on killing him in a single strike. In truth, Su Datsai was far more dangerous than Lu Ziyuan had ever been. Giving this man even a sliver of breathing room would be catastrophic. Once he regained his footing and unleashed the terrifying speed of his divine arts, Wang Lin would be powerless to resist. At that point, this battlefield would no longer be a trap for Su Datsai, but a grave for Wang Lin himself. This reality burned in Wang Lin's mind with chilling clarity. So, the instant Su Datsai reeled backward, eyes locked on that strange lantern, Wang Lin didn't hesitate. He raised his right hand, and at the very moment Su Datsai tried to invoke a divine art, Wang Lin ignored the looming backlash, his voice a low, guttural roar. Freeze! With that single word, the body immobilization art erupted. Power surged within Wang Lin like a tidal wave. The gap between their cultivations was vast, and forcing this technique to work came at a tremendous price. Blood gushed from his lips, yet his expression only twisted into something more feral. Under this immobilization, Su Datsai had barely begun to lift his hand when his entire being jolted. It was as if countless fine threads lashed in from every direction, piercing his flesh, binding his movements, seeping into his core. Even the lantern above him dimmed, its link to Su Datsai disrupted, frozen along with him. But Su Datsai's cultivation towered over Wang Lin's. The effect lasted only an instant. Yet an instant was all Wang Lin needed to shatter Su Datsai's rhythm, halt his counterattack, and seize the opening for the next strike. The moment the word left his lips, Wang Lin's sleeve swept wide. All at once, the countless flakes of black snow drifting through the sky surged like a tempest, sweeping down in a howling storm towards Su Datsai. The thick layer of black snow blanketing the ground rose as well, whirling into the maelstrom. This snow was born of Wang Lin's seal origin, and within every single flake pulsed layers upon layers of restriction seals. Now, the entire world of black snow closed in around Su Datsai, locking him within a killing formation. It all happened in the blink of an eye. Su Datsai regained movement, pupils contracting as horror burst across his features. What kind of divine art is this? To freeze not just my body, but even my thoughts, my very will. I've never seen such a technique. His voice trembled as he lurched backward, right hand rising. Freeze! Wang Lin roared again, fingers stabbing forward. Blood streamed from his mouth in torrents, his face ghostly pale, yet his eyes gleamed with vicious resolve. At that single gesture, Su Datsai's body jerked violently, and for the first time, fear flooded his eyes. Above, the storm clouds of black snow churned violently. Those clouds were no natural phenomenon. They were the ghost sail, Wang Lin's most formidable art, the ultimate technique of the Great Soul sect. Its essence lay in its ability to bypass cultivation and warp the mind. Thunder cracked as the black clouds surged downward, merging at incredible speed into the silhouette of a woman in white, her back turned, her form blurred. A soft, pitiful sobbing drifted through the air, sounds that could chill the soul. But this was no living woman. This was a ghost. The art of ghostly illusion, manifesting a spirit in human form. In that instant, Wang Lin summoned it forth. Decai froze again, eyes widening as the restrictions faded from his limbs, only to find the figure etched deep into his mind. Her weeping echoing inside him, shaking his soul. For the first time, his gaze clouded with confusion. And in that fleeting lapse, Wang Lin's sleeve swept down. The earth erupted with a deafening roar as 30 million soul fragments burst from the ground. They surged upward like threads of black smoke, streaming straight for Decai. In an instant, those countless soul fragments wrapped around Decai, entwining him within a storm of black snow, and together they soared skyward. The blue expanse above was no natural sky. It was Wang Lin's blue umbrella unfurled, a treasure that shielded as fiercely as it struck. From afar, Decai's body spiraled upward like a falling star in reverse, hurled toward that cerulean dome. And just as he neared the shimmering veil, Wang Lin's roar tore through the void. The roar shook heaven and earth. The blue sky collapsed. 30 million soul fragments tore and bit at each other, and black snow rolled backward. That collapse forged a destructive force that surged straight into the depths, where Decai was. At the same time, within Decai's body, the soft sobbing of the woman in white dragged him into a dreamlike illusion. Wang Lin had no time to see the outcome. Killing a cultivator at the early void tribulation stage was far too difficult. Every one of them was renowned and fearsome. To kill such a figure, he could not afford the slightest carelessness. He had to remain vigilant at all times. Without hesitation, Wang Lin's fire primordial true body manifested behind him. Raising his right hand, he pointed at the sky. Seven-colored art. As his words echoed, the heavens and earth were immediately flooded with blinding seven-colored light. That radiance condensed into two long spears, one wrapped in blazing fire, hurtling forward one after another, straight towards Decai, within the collapsing sky. Soul subjugation seal. Wang Lin rasped hoarsely. His right hand slammed upward. The heavens rumbled, and a colossal palm print manifested. Behind it, another fiery palm print followed, both descending towards Decai. Ancient flame umbrella. Wang Lin growled low. With both hands raised, countless restriction seals soared into the sky. Above, a vast flaming ancient umbrella spread open. Behind it, another umbrella manifested. The two collapsed inward, unleashing a doubled torrent of world-destroying fire. Summon wind and rain. Scatter beams to form soldiers. Mountain collapse and earth split. Dark moon has clear skies. Wang Lin unleashed nearly all his divine arts. With rapid hand seals, he pushed forward the immortal spell once performed by Fan, evolving it into Dark Moon has clear skies. A dark moon suddenly appeared in the sky, and within that shadowed orb another dim moon could faintly be seen. Twin moons. The heavens shook with a thunderous roar. A shrill scream echoed across the world. The black snow crumbled as two seven-colored long spears pierced through the sky. Behind them, the soul subjugation seal descended, and finally, Dark Moon has clear skies imprinted itself upon Decai. Decai spewed blood essence. His right arm exploded, his body looking as though a dying flame was sputtering out. He was grievously wounded. If not for the lantern above his head, he would already have perished in the second wave of killing intent that Wang Lin had unleashed. The lantern above flickered, its jewel wavering as if ready to be extinguished. Terror filled Decai's eyes, overshadowed by a death crisis he had not felt in countless years. Just give me one chance. Just one chance. His robes were dyed red with blood, and madness surged within his fear. Stumbling back one step, then two, he prepared to take a third. Stop! Wang Lin spat blood, forcing himself to unleash the body immobilization art for a third time. Su Decai's body trembled violently, despair flooding his eyes. In that instant, Wang Lin unleashed his third and final killing strike. His figure blurred, rushing forward at extreme speed toward the gravely wounded Su Decai. At the same time, from deep underground came a feral, bloodthirsty roar. EC, missing an arm yet seething with murderous intent, burst forth and charged directly at Su Decai. In the distant sky, the mosquito beast manifested, wings shrieking as it surged full speed toward its prey. This was Wang Lin's third killing strike, the one meant to end it all. From three directions, three waves of killing intent converged upon Su Decai. EC was the first to reach him, a cruel grin twisting its face. At the moment of impact, its remaining arm swung down and clawed fiercely at Su Decai. With strength equal to an early Void Tribulation cultivator, that strike tore deeper into Su Decai's already broken body. Su Decai screamed, his flesh restored to motion only to shatter once more. His body ruptured with a thunderous blast, torn apart by EC's long-prepared strike. His essence spirit shot out in panic, clutching the lantern, drenched in terror, retreating with a piercing shriek. But the Mosquito King had long been waiting. It swooped in, massive proboscis lashing forward, striking Su Decai's essence spirit. With a single powerful suction, it almost devoured him entirely. Only the lantern's sudden burst of light forced the mosquito beast back. Otherwise, that one strike would have consumed him whole. The lantern's glow expanded, engulfing EC. Black miasma erupted from EC's body, but instead of retreating under the searing pain, it roared with bloodlust and lunged forward again, clawing fiercely. Su Decai's essence spirit screamed even more miserably, its vitality draining away. And at that exact moment, Wang Lin arrived. Su Decai was covered in wounds, his flesh destroyed, his essence spirit nearly extinguished. If not for that mysterious lantern's protection, he would have, but the lantern was far too strange. To kill Su Decai, Wang Lin first had to sever the connection between him and that lantern. At the very moment he closed in, blood light flared in his right hand. The blood sword materialized in his grip. Without hesitation, he slashed down towards Su Decai's head. Here, within the lands of the Immortal clan on the Immortal Firmament continent, Wang Lin exercised extreme caution whenever using his ancient Dao divine ability. He couldn't afford to reveal too much, lest recognition trap him in a situation where every step became perilous. After all, in essence, he belonged to the Dao ancient lineage, not to the Immortals. Within this territory of the Immortal clan, such caution was a necessity. But inside the Space Stone, he had no such reservations. The instant his sword fell, a towering Dao ancient phantom emerged behind him, as though holding up the heavens themselves. Clad in heavy armor, it emanated an ancient, desolate aura the moment it appeared. Bloodlight flashed. Wang Lin, gripping the blood sword, slashed through Su Decai's essence spirit, cutting past the lantern above him in one fluid motion. With a resounding bang, Su Decai's essence spirit erupted in a torrent of spirit energy. His entire presence withered, his body slackening as the lantern above him was swept away with immense force, flipping backward through the air. The Zhuhua within it extinguished in an instant. I won't accept this. Su Decai's fading essence spirit let out one final, hoarse roar before Wang Lin swept his sleeve. With a devastating follow-up strike, he crushed the lingering essence and drew it into his storage dimension. The toll of the battle hit Wang Lin in the next moment. His body trembled as he spat out a mouthful of blood essence, falling from the sky. Crossing his legs mid-fall, he landed hard but immediately sat in meditation, eyes closed, adjusting his internal breath. The Mosquito King circled nearby, ever vigilant. As for EC, its eyes flashed strangely before it blurred and vanished into the distance. When it returned, it carried an arm, bloodied and mangled, the severed limb of Su Decai's physical body. EC stared at it blankly for a moment before a mist seeped out from its body, shrouding it completely. Time slipped by. 3 days passed in silence, the Mosquito King maintaining tireless vigilance over Wang Lin. The area was utterly still, not the slightest ripple disturbing the quiet. As the third day drew to a close, Wang Lin finally opened his eyes. Exhaustion was carved deep into his features. Killing 2 early Void Tribulation stage cultivators back-to-back had drained him completely. 2 down, 8 more to go. He lifted his right hand, grasping at the empty air ahead. A severed head shot toward him, landing in his palm. The head of Su Decai's physical body, its eyes wide open, empty, still carrying the frozen despair and fear of its final moments. Wang Lin studied the head for a long while before storing it away, placing it alongside Lu Ziyuan's. This lantern of his, truly peculiar. His gaze sharpened as his sleeve swept out. In the distance, the extinguished lantern rose from where it had fallen, floating silently before him. Fixing his eyes on it, Wang Lin exhaled a wisp of essence spirit energy, letting it settle upon the lantern to refine it. Slowly, a soft Zhuhua flickered back to life within, its warm light glowing gently. With his insight into the seal origin, Wang Lin probed every inch of the lantern, inside and out. It was, he realized, purely a defensive artifact, utterly lacking in offensive power but unparalleled in protection. As long as its inner flame remained lit, the essence spirit could not be extinguished. More than that, it could even nourish the essence spirit, gradually strengthening it as though it were absorbing a medicinal pill. If refined into the body and stationed beside the essence spirit, that soft lantern light could suffuse the physical form as well, adding an invisible layer of protection. If not for this artifact, Su Decai wouldn't have survived the second round of that slaughter. With a sharp inhale, Wang Lin drew the lantern toward him. It shrank instantly, vanishing into his mouth, and nestled itself beside his essence spirit. A warm glow radiated outward, wrapping his body in a soothing cocoon. A comforting warmth seeped through Wang Lin's soul. He inhaled deeply, excitement flickering in his eyes. This battle was worth it. Most importantly, there's still the secret of how he cast his divine arts so quickly. If I can master that, my combat strength will soar. Wang Lin had experienced firsthand Su Decai's terrifying casting speed. Against such speed, giving the opponent even a fraction of an opening meant being driven into absolute suppression, overwhelmed by relentless waves of divine arts without the slightest chance to retaliate. His eyes glinted as he turned his hand over. There, in his palm, appeared Su Decai's essence spirit, shrunken to a mere 3 inches, gravely wounded and near collapse, its eyes shut tight in unconsciousness. Staring coldly at the essence spirit, Wang Lin clenched his fist. The moment his hand closed, he unleashed Soul Search. Normally, the difference in cultivation would have made such a technique nearly impossible to execute, but with Su Decai so utterly broken, there was nothing preventing Wang Lin from seizing the secrets locked within. The memories of Su Decai's entire life were laid bare before Wang Lin, who combed through them without restraint, searching for the root. Time slipped by slowly. 3 hours passed in the blink of an eye. Su Decai had lived far too long. To sift through the tangled web of his memories and extract a single cultivation art naturally took time. At last, after 3 hours, Wang Lin's closed eyes snapped open, joy blazing in their depths. Swift got art. Su Decai once had a great stroke of fortune. From a meteor that had fallen from the heavens, he discovered an intricate sequence of hand seals carved into the stone. By cultivating them, he gained that terrifying speed in spellcasting. Wang Lin opened his palm. Su Decai's essence spirit trembled violently, on the verge of dispersing into nothingness, as though collapse could come at any moment. Yet time dragged on, and still it did not shatter. Instead, a faint, eerie radiance suddenly appeared within it. That glow carried a monstrous resentment, the unwillingness and rage he had borne at the moment of his death. But what made Wang Lin's eyes narrow was that, after thickening, the resentment unexpectedly began to fade, until it stabilized at a fixed level. Su Decai's essence spirit, rather than crumbling away, slowly opened its eyes. The instant those eyes met Wang Lin's, his mind roared with a sudden haze of confusion. Taking advantage of that instant, the Su Decai within his palm flickered and shot away at extreme speed. Wang Lin, however, quickly recovered. His eyes gleamed with astonishment and disbelief. A ghost soul was born. He had long studied multiple illusion arts, and understood well the rare chance for a ghost soul to form after the death of a person or beast. Such phenomena had nothing to do with cultivation level, but were extraordinarily uncommon. Unless, of course, one employed the methods of the Great Soul sect. But even then, the resulting souls were of inferior quality, only fit to refine into mid-grade ghost sales at best. For a dead person or beast to naturally give rise to a ghost soul, such a soul was an incredible boon for one who cultivated the multiple illusion arts. Wang Lin's heart pounded furiously. The unexpected discovery thrilled him beyond measure. Without a second thought, his gaze locked on the fleeing ghost soul of Decai. Excitement surged through him as his body flickered, vanishing in pursuit. A mere ghost soul could never escape his grasp. He had slain this man in life. How could he fear him in death? In but a moment, Wang Lin returned, gripping tightly a writhing, screaming ghost soul in his hand. Clutching it firmly, he sent it into his storage dimension. This would be of immense use to him. Only then did he draw a deep breath and settle himself, turning his focus back to the swift god art buried within Decai's memories. This divine art pursued extremity itself, capable of raising spellcasting speed to a fearsome level. Its foundation lay in opening 9 divine meridians within the body. With each additional meridian, speed increased dramatically. Decai, after years of cultivation, had already opened 7. These divine meridians, as the art named them, were in truth special circulatory vortices created within the body, sealed with essence spirits as the price. They accelerated energy flow, doubling the speed of casting. To seal a cultivator's essence spirit within the body to form a vortex. This technique feels strikingly similar to certain divine arts of the Gu clan. As Wang Lin studied, such thoughts rose unbidden. The more he delved into it, the clearer the idea became. In his eyes, this art was by no means limited to spellcasting. If employed by a Gu clansman, its power might become even more terrifying. A pity I have no spare essence spirits now, Wang Lin murmured, engraving the swift god art firmly into his memory. Once he comprehended it fully, he rose to his feet. With a sweep of his right hand, the earth shuddered. A gourd emerged, landing in his palm. Within it, the 30 million soul fragments still held more than half their number. The deaths had not been too great. The blue umbrella floating in the sky he also collected, along with the Mosquito King and EC, still shrouded in mist, its body fused with Decai's severed arm, as though striving to restore its missing limb. All were sealed away into his storage dimension. When he finished, cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes. It's time to return. With a single stride, his figure vanished from the shattered dimension. Days later, over the extreme heaven grasslands, mist rolled and battles raged ceaselessly. The longer the slaughter dragged on, the stronger the surviving cultivators became, and the harder they were to kill. As a result, each clash grew more drawn out and brutal. Within the fog, ordinary cultivators had nearly gone mad, eyes bloodshot as they unleashed one divine art after another. Deep within the mist, Elder Zhang and Elder Zhao fought side by side against Lu Wenran and several cultivators of the early Void Tribulation stage, who besieged them in unison. Not far away, 2 female cultivators from Green Devil Continent, both at the early Void Tribulation stage, struggled against none other than Yin Luan and Elder Su on Green Devil Continent. After the fall of 2 more early Void Tribulation venerables, their overall strength plummeted. As a result, Zhang and Zhao, those 2 mid-Void Tribulation old fiends, suddenly bore even greater pressure, forced to face more opponents than before. Several days later, the 2 mid-Void Tribulation elders of Green Devil Continent were already in dire straits, their situation so desperate it seemed they could barely hold on. Tens of thousands of miles away from the battlefield, the grasslands lay shrouded in mist. Among the weeds and mud, a single stone glimmered faintly with ghostly light. From it, Wang Lin's figure suddenly emerged. The skies were dim, wrapped in mist. The rains that had begun days earlier had not ceased, though they had weakened, merging with the fog to drape the land in dampness. Bending down, he picked up the space stone and slipped it into his storage dimension. His eyes turned cold as he gazed into the distance. When a space stone is used, it falls back to the exact spot of entry. That's dangerous. Unless absolutely necessary, I'd best not use it again. His figure wavered, ripples spreading beneath his feet, and in an instant, he vanished. When he reappeared, he was less than 1,000 miles from the battlefield, millions locked in combat just ahead. Even from this distance, waves of divine arts rippled toward him, mingled with faint traces of death. Such large-scale battles always meant countless casualties on both sides. For this kind of war, Wang Lin felt only weariness. He had no desire to get entangled. Here, he had no sense of belonging, no urge to cry out the battle cries of, "We cultivators fear no fight." All he sought was to fulfill the 3 conditions set by the Azure Ox Patriarch, and to repay the 3 gifts of the Great Soul Sect. That was Wang Lin's way. He repaid kindness with utmost sincerity. At this point, fighting Void Tribulation cultivators directly isn't wise, but if I come across one already gravely injured, perhaps I can reap some benefit. His eyes glinted. His form blurred into a wisp of smoke, vanishing into the mist as he sped toward the battlefield. The closer he drew, the stronger the waves of divine arts became, the more suffocating the aura of death. Amidst it, faintly, came the roars of combat and the crashing booms of treasures and divine abilities colliding. This battlefield, it could be a place to capture essence spirits and seal them into my body to refine the swift god art. Soon, he rushed into the hundreds of miles of carnage. Screams filled the skies. Spells surged in waves, colors blazing in chaotic splendor. From the 6,000 or 7,000 cultivators who had begun, fewer than 4,000 now remained. Eyes red, they fought in a frenzy, locked in a slaughter without end. Wang Lin moved like a ghost among them. He saw deaths from Green Devil Continent, deaths from Heavenly Bull Continent, but he did not strike. He had no desire to join the bloodshed. To him, Heavenly Bull Continent and Green Devil Continent were the same, equally tainted, equally meaningless. Flashing forward, Wang Lin delved deeper into the battlefield. Suddenly, his body halted, head snapping to the right. There, amidst the swirling mist, 2 cultivators clashed fiercely. One was already faltering, retreating again and again in peril. His opponent, an elder of Green Devil Continent, possessed mid-profound void cultivation and fought with ruthless ferocity. It's him. Wang Lin recognized the retreating figure, a white-haired elder he had once seen on the extreme heaven grasslands. Now that elder was a pitiful sight, face pale, blood seeping from the corner of his mouth. Yet his gaze remained unyielding, his spirit unwavering. Wang Lin's eyes flickered. His body blurred, slipping silently away. The Green Devil cultivator snarled, eyes twisted with savagery. His hands swept out, summoning 2 massive phantoms that roared forward in pursuit. "You've fought this old man long enough. Now go to your death," he howled, stabbing a finger forward. The 2 phantoms at his sides transformed into rainbows of light, streaking toward the fleeing elder. The white-haired cultivator sighed inwardly. Life and death had become familiar to him. He had watched too many comrades perish in agony on this battlefield. Now it was his turn. A faint sorrow stirred in his heart, but stronger still was release. Yet surrendering without resistance was impossible. Cold determination flashed in his eyes as he prepared to self-destruct. As a Heavenly Bull Continent cultivator, this was the last act he could offer his homeland. I was born on Heavenly Bull Continent. My cultivation was forged by its heavens and earth, its spirits and matter. Now, I return it all to Heavenly Bull Continent, with no regrets. His voice was calm, resolute. He ceased fleeing, turning back at the very instant he was about to self-detonate. But suddenly his pupils contracted sharply. Between him and his pursuer, a figure had appeared out of nowhere. It was a white-haired, white-arrow. Wang Lin appeared silently, his right hand raised as he casually waved forward. The heavens and earth rumbled, and the surrounding mist churned violently. The 2 incoming illusory, demonic figures trembled, their forms suddenly collapsing. The collapse of these illusory demons caused the Green Devil Continent cultivator's expression to change drastically, revealing a look of horror. His divine art could not be broken, but to see it so easily destroyed by his opponent could only mean one thing. His opponent was at least a profound tribulation cultivator. The thought flashed in his mind, and the Green Devil Continent cultivator's scalp tingled. Without hesitation, he rapidly retreated, attempting to flee the area. Wang Lin snorted coldly and took a step forward. He appeared instantly thousands of zhang away, directly where the Green Devil Continent cultivator had tried to escape. In the blink of an eye, he appeared before him, delivering a palm strike that fell like a mountain. The cultivator had no time to dodge, and Wang Lin's palm struck his crown. With a loud bang, the cultivator's body shattered, breaking into pieces as blood and flesh splattered. His essence spirit was enveloped by the force and forcibly drawn from his collapsing body. Wang Lin grabbed it with a swift motion, quickly forming a series of seals and pressing it to his chest. The essence spirit vanished, but inside Wang Lin's body, a whirlpool appeared. This whirlpool was a nascent divine meridian that Wang Lin had formed within himself using the methods from the Swift God art. The entire process was rapid, and in the blink of an eye, it was over. The elderly man with silver hair stood dumbfounded, staring at Wang Lin's receding figure, which vanished in a flash. After a long moment, he exhaled deeply. He's that elder from the Great Soul Sect. The old man recognized Wang Lin immediately, having seen him before in the underground palace. Yet, the image of Wang Lin's distant figure, his white hair, white robes, and the cold aura emanating from him, left the old man with an unsettling feeling, as if he had seen him somewhere before. Wang Lin moved through the mist, steadily advancing toward the battle site of the Void Tribulation cultivators. Along the way, any cultivator with profound void cultivation that he encountered was instantly struck down, their essence spirit sealed inside Wang Lin's body to fortify his first divine meridian. The Swift God art had begun to make sense to Wang Lin. By constantly sealing the essence spirits to transform them into whirlpools, their rotation would speed up as more and more cultivators were sealed, thus accelerating the power of the whirlpool. This would, in turn, greatly enhance the speed at which he could deploy his divine arts. However, there was a limit. As Wang Lin approached the edge of the battlefield where the Void Tribulation cultivators fought, he had sealed 9 cultivators. After these 9, no more could be sealed, nor could a second divine meridian be formed. This had been mentioned in the Swift God Art's instructions, but after experiencing it personally, Wang Lin understood that to form a second divine meridian, a higher-level essence spirit was needed. Unless, like Decai, he could begin sealing from the Void Nirvana cultivators, but doing so would result in much less power. The whirlpool formed by Wang Lin's sealing of profound void cultivators was already more powerful than Decai's 4 whirlpools from years ago. From this, one could see the difference. A profound tribulation cultivator should be able to allow me to form a second divine meridian, but there are few of them on the battlefield. Wang Lin squinted his eyes, observing the rolling mist in the distance, where all the void tribulation cultivators were engaged in battle. After a moment of contemplation, Wang Lin frowned. They won't be seriously injured anytime soon. Those Green Devil Continent cultivators must have taken some pills that allow them to resist the mist while boosting their combat power. In that case, it's better to search for the profound tribulation cultivators first. Wang Lin's gaze turned thoughtful as he silently retreated, just as he was about to leave when his expression suddenly changed. Without a second thought, he burst forward at full speed. Less than 3 zhang away, a green light flashed, striking the exact spot where he had been standing. The ground shook with a deafening roar, and even the mist seemed to shatter under the impact. The force of the strike created a massive shockwave, sending Wang Lin flying a great distance. If he hadn't reacted in time, that blow would have seriously injured him. Wang Lin didn't turn around. His hair stood on end as he distinctly sensed that a divine sense was locking onto him. His body flickered as he dashed forward. Ripples appeared beneath his feet, preparing to merge with the world. Chua! But just then, a cold voice echoed in his ear. It was as if the entire world had been sealed, and he could no longer merge with it. A mid-void tribulation old monster. Wang Lin immediately deduced the source of the divine sense. Gritting his teeth, he stopped attempting to merge with the world, and instead waved his sleeve, summoning a mosquito behind Wang Lin. The elder surnamed Zhang, who had earlier battled with Lu Wenran and several void tribulation cultivators of the Heavenly Bull continent, stepped forward. His gaze locked on the direction where Wang Lin was fleeing, murderous intent flashing in his eyes. Ignoring the chaos of the battlefield, he strode out in swift pursuit. I, Zhang Daozong, have waited for you for days. At last, you've shown yourself, little fox. You killed Lu Ziyuan, and now you must answer for it to calm the sect master's fury. Wang Lin said nothing. Harnessing the speed of the mosquito beast, he shot forward 10,000 feet in an instant. Yet Zhang Daozong was even faster, within a